saying, man, how come you're doing this by yourself? You're crazy. I don't know. 1 people, 2 people? What's the difference? Something bad's gonna happen. Something bad enough can happen to me. It's gonna happen to the other guy too. What do you think? I'm not worried. How cool is this? That is the deep, dark rainforest. Crazy, eh? I should probably go on that beach and look for some tracks of everything. There's an oyster lease out there. There's a 360. I'm gonna go in there and check out that beach. Cool. That's some dark timber in there. Check this out. Oh, that was close. Almost got a complete soaker there. So there must be a bunch of oysters here to grab. All right, first thing I always do is check out the sand. Out of habit. Sounds like freshwater creek coming out here. Look at all this old shit. Logging stuff. Big, huge clevis. That old grease gun. That's pretty weird. No bear tracks. Odd. Oh, there's some old track there. Old track there. Huh. Well, maybe I'll hang out here. I'm gonna grab some oysters maybe, and then maybe I'll hang out and get some emails shared while I'm here. This ought to work. I can't believe how sensitive the mic is on that little GoPro. Pretty crazy. Anybody curious, in that last video that I uploaded, there was a bear behind me. I think it's at the 20-minute mark or something, probably the same one that came out right behind where I was reading later on. If you're hearing that sound. I'll look into that sound more when I get home on the editing program. Pretty certain if a bear comes up behind me, I should be able to hear it breathing anyway. Who knows? I think I videotaped probably, I don't know. I must have videotaped 20-something bears already. They're literally everywhere. Now. Alright, what's this? The possible dangers of gifting. Well, Steve, hope you're doing well. I'm writing you again about a situation I had that I basically brought on myself. I've sent you a couple other emails of encounters I've had, which is more than I can count on two hands. I'm only sending you the ones I feel are most important, of most importance, or could possibly help someone. That way I'm not using up your time. You've read one email already. I appreciate you sharing it. So back to the situation I had. I've been doing so-called research, LOL, on these things since 2015. I was trying everything possible to learn about them, even the foolish stuff. I know better now. So about 2 years ago, I've been doing the gifting thing for a good 6 to 8 months. Same place in the woods every time. There's a huge fallen tree laying on its side, perfect for placing my gifts on. Behind this big fallen tree, there was a line of scrub brush that ran along the creek. It fed into our lake here. The scrub brush was around 5 to 8 feet tall, very thick. You could only see about 2 to 3 feet inside of it. I had this feeling every time I was out there that somehow they were living beyond that scrub oak. And I did have to have a face-to-face encounter in the same area 2 years prior. Only lasted about 3 seconds. I'll put that one in another email. So my gifting was doing well, I guess. Or raccoons and other wildlife was just having a feast at my expense, LOL. But eventually I realized it was going nowhere and doing me no good. So I slowly stopped gifting. But this being a hotspot of mine, I wanted to film one and kept going back in there. So one day I was doing my usual filming as I hiked in, talking to the camera, etc. Everything I filmed was going on my YouTube channel, so as I got closer to the huge fallen gifting tree, I was drawn towards the scrub brush for some reason. As I got to the end of the fallen tree, right where the root ball meets the line of scrub brush, also, I was being a little stealthy too. I stepped on a twig by accident and made a loud popping sound. At that instant, something about 3 to 4 feet inside that scrub brush jumped up and was mowing down the brush like it was an elephant. Then, as it exited the brush on the other side, it hit that creek water so hard, it crossed the creek. As it crossed the creek, it sounded like someone dropped a vehicle in the creek. It was that loud. So as I'm standing there, shitting my pants, thankful it went the other way, I felt like the coast was clear and entered just inside of the line of brush, which was very hard to do. It only had to go about 3 feet, and I saw where it had been hiding. A void had been made inside that brush, like a hollowed out area. You couldn't see this void unless you were looking right down into it, which is why I only heard and never saw this creature. But we both know what it probably was. I could not only hear the bipedal footfalls as it ran off, but I could feel the ground shake too. That thing was waiting on me to leave. It's some food on the tree. Or possibly something worse, although it did run off. So I'm sure everyone can see where I'm going with this. In my opinion and experience, gifting is not such a good idea. So I'm gonna end it here. Gotta get back to work. Steve, you're a godsend. You have an army behind you, brother. Keep up the great work. We got your back. Feel free to use my name, Chris Dickinson from Oklahoma. Okay, Chris, thanks for that, man. Yeah, I'm not into gifting at all. And I guess lots of people are into it. To each their own. And in case anybody's not quite picking it up yet, what I am behind isn't... I was thinking about the other night. This is an absolute truth movement. This is what my channel is. It's absolute truth. It's not a fun Bigfoot organization, fun Bigfoot page. It's not for Bigfooters. It's not a Squatch Fest place. This channel is one thing that I can do to bring absolute truth to all of the world, hopefully, through this complete shit show that we're all experiencing today from the absolute, you know what I'm going to say. The positions of leadership today are full of very, very messed up individuals. So anyway, this is truth. This channel is about absolute truth. This shit's going on. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just like having the experiences that I've had. Didn't ask for it, had them. It's reality. It's true. End of story. It also, for me, 100% enlightenment that we are being lied to during this whole ride. And you know, I've said that as many times, and I'm not going to stop saying it. But one thing I want to explain to all of you is, all of you who might not be on the same page as me, and might not be picking up what I'm putting down. I don't, you know, sometimes through lifetime, the majority of us all get shystered, misled. You know, we all get conned at one point or another, whether it be a small con or a huge one. And you know that feeling where it's like, oh shit, they got me, right? Well, I don't want to die, and possibly when we die, we get all the answers. I don't want to die. I don't want this lifetime to end with me going, oh shit, the filthy bastards got me. Not only did they get me through this entire lifetime. Damn it. And then I can't go back. You can't go back and redo it. And then we've gone through this lifetime being misled and lied to. And at the end, we're all going to go, shit, damn it, you filthy bastards. So I am well aware of this. And this is what I'm trying to change for myself and many of you out there. It's time to change that. I don't want to die knowing I got ripped off and lied to and misled the whole ride. That's such a violation. That's such a frickin' penalty. Major game misconduct there. Do you see what I'm putting down, you guys? It's real shitty that we're being lied to. It's real shitty we're being controlled and directed and misled. It's real shitty. It really upsets me. And doing what I'm doing here is one thing that I can do to try to turn that around, to try to clue in as many people as I can at least about these truths, which lead to other truths, which are really, truly, actually going on. Okay? This isn't a Sasquatch enthusiast channel. This is a truth channel. This is a no bullshit channel, and this is a channel that's slowly gaining speed and getting bigger to fight back. Right? Man, there's a big, dark, creepy forest behind me there, isn't it? So there you go. There's a huge rain squall coming, I think. I better get reading. There's a tsunami about to hit me, I think. Now, what else do we have? Mark, this is red. My experience with what you call sabe. It's actually what the First Nations people called it. And I am following their lead, which many people should have done since the beginning when it comes to this topic and more. First, I'm a journalist / reformed criminal with a YouTube and Rumble channel as well, reporting on the narco war here that the mass media decides to deny is going on. With that being said, my channel is blank blank if you'd like to look. Me and you are actually in the same business of bringing light to the dark, even though in different ways, sir. My experiences occurred in the wilderness of New Mexico in a national park referred to as the Catwalk. The area is full of canyons, water, and every animal you can imagine. There's plenty of water and food year-round for all the animals. It was winter when my first experience happened. I was camping with 2 older cousins, and it was a trip we took every year. We set up camp like normal, overlooking a rope bridge that crosses a canyon, hence the name Catwalk. We had made a fire, and it was not extremely cold or windy, even though there was snow on the ground. We had heard rocks being thrown several times, but at the time, as we were on the ridge, my oldest cousin convinced us it was loose rocks falling down the ridge. Though now I know it wasn't. Sometimes we ignore the obvious to not have to confront our worst fears. This being one of those cases. We went to sleep, and I remember hearing heavy footsteps back and forth, maybe 20 feet or so from our tent, close but not too close. But as we were camping in this area, it was not uncommon to hear animals in the night. Though, looking back, I know that no animal paces back and forth observing that long. It was well over 30 minutes. In the morning, I was woken up to my cousin trying to load a semi-auto 22, dropping more rounds than he could feed into the gun. He had shook me 2 or 3 times and was shouting something I couldn't understand out of the panic he was in. By the time I got on my boots jacket and was out of the tent, here's something in the forest on the left. Those are bubbles from the boat, not me. Probably a bear. By the time I got on my boots jacket and was out of the tent, what he was panicked about had crossed the bridge and turned the corner, but I saw prints, about 16 inches long from what we estimated. We did not have a ruler. Clear as day. I wish this wasn't 10 years before cell phones had cameras, nor were we the type to take a camera. We took a rifle and food, etc. The bare minimum, but still safe, though a 22 wouldn't help with a sabe. My cousin saw a dark-haired, bipedal, human-like creature for around 30 seconds before he ran and woke us up. Apparently he saw the prints, followed them to the end of the ridge we were camping on, looked down and watched it finish crossing the bridge. But he said it sensed his eyes because it turned around, and he swears made eye contact for 3 or 4 seconds before running for the rifle and waking us in a panic mode. He refused to speak about this and is a high-ranking officer in the Navy. My other cousin passed away. Point being, I have no way to get more details or refresh my own memory, unfortunately. My second experience is at an abandoned mine shaft, if you can believe it, with the same cousin and about 9 or 10 other people. There was rumors as something scaring a lot of people around the entrance to this abandoned mine. My cousin decided that means we should go have a peek, and we did just that. Upon entering the abandoned mine, I remember we were hit with the smell of rotting meat that only got stronger the deeper we went. After around 5 minutes, we reached a turn which opened up to a big, I think, natural chamber. We were making the turn. I was 3rd or 4th in line going in, and my cousin nicked himself, 3 others, over with pure adrenaline, not even half a second after making the turn. We saw the raw fear and all started to run as fast as we could. In my mind, I was thinking mountain lion. As we exited the mine, I got 30 feet away and remember turning to see what came out. All I saw was a deer carcass hurled over all of our heads and a huge black blur moving fast, though it was night and we were not pointing our lights at it either. After the deer was thrown, we were all running to the 3 cars we had brought up there. My cousin described the exact same animal, and these encounters weren't far apart. I wonder if it was the same individual. I also wonder why their coats don't change white with winter, or at least not as dark. But no, definitely odd. But now definitely odd, I feel there's a clue to all this in that. Either way, I got it off my chest. There it is. If you'd like to help bring attention to the narco war going on here on my YouTube. Okay, I don't promote anybody's channel, sorry, because I definitely don't know who you are. And I'll look into it first and possibly share it later on. But if you're into exposing narco, go after Big Farm. That's the #1 killer on the planet today, isn't it? But anyway, regards, you're a brave man. Keep doing what you do, sir. You can use my name. I'm not ashamed. Okay, man, thanks for that email. I appreciate it. I hope I didn't butcher it up. Unfortunately, you guys, the GoPro shut off when I was on the beach. I didn't even know it. So I'm finishing these off at home. Kind of sucks. But anyway, there is another one from a journalist. I hope we hear back from you with some more information if you feel you have information that'll help the people when it comes to this topic. We really appreciate it. Appreciate the time you took to send this in. All right, here's one more that was missed in the GoPro, and I'll finish this off now. And you can watch some of these scenes that I witnessed this past week as I read this one. Something off in the Willamette National Forest, Washington. My husband and I were on a camping trip in July 21 in the Willamette Forest. This has been a long-awaited trip as I had been asking to go camping here for a little over a year since I've driven through it many times on trips to see my family in Nevada. However, this trip will turn out to be the first and last time we ever go camping here. I'm very glad we didn't have our children or dog with us during this trip. We didn't have a set camping spot, but I had called the ranger station ahead to ask where the dispersed camping locations were. I took note of a specific spot that I thought would be ideal, as it was directly across the highway from Salt Creek Falls, which was our main attraction for going. This spot wound up being the only option open for us since most spots were already taken. My husband was hesitant about the area as we started up the road, being worried that it wasn't a spot we could camp at, but I had gotten specific directions from the ranger and felt confident that this was the spot. The road forked, and on one side was what looked like an old abandoned logging site, and the other was a road that seemed to go deep into a very thickly forested and hardly traveled dirt road. We took that dirt road up a ways and discovered what looked like a very old and overgrown road down to a camping spot. Thought it was perfect. We noticed fairly quickly that place felt off. It took me a while to figure out why. There were no animal sounds, not a single animal to be seen or heard. We also felt like we were being watched. We quickly decided neither of us would be going anywhere without the other. The first night we put a bag of our trash, steak packaging and other food scraps, tied to a tree a safe distance away from our campsite in case it attracted anything. We didn't get a wink of sleep that night. We heard a couple of things walking around the site, tapping, and I swear something came right next to the vehicle at one point. We were sleeping in the vehicle. Anytime I felt it was getting too close, I'd blast my high beams and sound the truck alarm. I was not messing around. Anytime either of us had to go to the bathroom, we turned on the truck lights and stick together. The next morning, once we felt comfortable enough, we decided to get out and make breakfast. There were no tracks anywhere, only our own, and nothing touched a trash bag. At this point, I was severely spooked. I couldn't wrap my head around everything that happened that night, but leaving no tracks, and if it was an animal, why wouldn't it go for the trash? The trash was not up a tree, simply next to it. My husband tried convincing me to leave early so we didn't have another night of that, but I was pissed. We hardly get time to ourselves, and we'd been planning this for too long. We agreed to try one more night. The second day we left the campsite and explored the other areas to see if we could at least change campsites, but there was nothing. We at least got away from it for a while to have fun for the day. Towards the end of the day, we got back and decided not to be out once it was dark. I should also note that there were still no animals to be seen or heard here. We heard them in other areas, but not at that site. That night wound up being a ramped-up version of the previous night, but weirder. We decided to put a movie in on our computer to help distract us and hopefully help us sleep. The problem was, our external hard drive had mysteriously disappeared. I knew we brought it, but it was now gone. I went through everything in the truck more than once and was growing more and more frustrated the longer I couldn't find it. My husband also attempted to find it, to no avail. I finally gave up, and we played some card games instead. A while later, I went to put everything away for bed, and the damn thing suddenly appeared in front of me like it had been there all along. I'm thoroughly convinced something or someone was messing with me. No, it wasn't my husband. He liked sleeping with me. My husband and I both kind of laughed it off and decided to watch a movie for bed. He had quickly fallen asleep, but I had no such luck. The thoughts of the night before, the hard drive, and lack of animal activity had me too spooked. The sounds of walking and tapping noises seemed to be even closer to the vehicle this night. I didn't want to go outside at all, but at one point could no longer wait. I woke my husband, who startled awake and said he'd had a nightmare that someone was trying to take us. We went outside anyway, though, and quickly took care of business, the entire time feeling very on edge, like we were being watched. Once we were back inside the vehicle, I decided to see if I could see anything when the noises would start. I never could see anything making the noises. At one point, I looked up towards the passenger window and saw a handprint on the window. I couldn't wipe it off from the inside of the vehicle either. I was severely spooked and didn't sleep the rest of the night. When it was the morning, I could hardly bring myself to step outside. I was so shaken. My husband and I agreed to quickly pack up, making sure not to leave any trash, and leave. As we were leaving, I noticed a log slightly up a hill that was completely white, not birch. I know some fungus can cause this, but it didn't look natural. It looked painted. I'm not sure if this is nothing or not, but it seemed odd to me. We were in such a hurry to leave that place, we didn't even bother making coffee. Never going back there again. Not sure what was out there watching us and terrifying us, but I felt we were not welcome. A separate occurrence in November. I was by myself, headed home from one of my trips to Nevada, with the truck bed full of boxed items. As I was getting through the Mount Hood Pass, I needed to stop and relieve myself. I knew I would need to stop for gas very soon, as it was blinking on empty, and remembered there was a gas station a few more miles up. My phone was also at 5% and had no service. I couldn't wait any longer, though, and pulled over to what looked like some fenced-in construction area. I simply hopped over the passenger door, as it was dark, and I didn't want to risk getting out so close to the highway. This is a bit embarrassing and probably everyone's nightmare. As I was relieving myself, I suddenly noticed a large shadow moving towards me, and could distinctly hear the gravel crunching from walking getting louder as it was getting closer. My heart leapt into my throat, and I've never pulled my pants up so fast. I launched myself up into the truck and slammed down the lock button, and very quickly jumped into the driver's seat, and just as quickly peeled out of there. I didn't even bother to look to see who or what it was. I was so terrified. I've literally never been more terrified in my life. I was shaking so bad, it was hard to drive. About 1 minute into driving, I heard a bump on the truck. There was no bump in the road. I looked in the rearview mirror and didn't see anything in the road behind me. It took a couple of minutes to convince myself I needed to pull over to make sure I didn't lose a box, especially for safety of others on the road. When I did pull over, I waited a minute, checking all my mirrors, and decided how I was going to get out. I know, logically, whatever had been at the previous stop couldn't be here now, but I was too terrified still to really think about that. I decided not to open the door, but only roll down the window and use my flashlight to look at the boxes. I could see none of them had escaped and quickly got back on the road. I still can't help but feel like I had not reacted so quickly or done anything differently, I might not have made it home that night. I've decided not to take that road at night ever again. Something I feel needs mentioning is that I've gone camping many times in my life, grew up on a ranch, learned to shoot young, and never been afraid to camp or go out of my vehicle before, and it has since not happened again. Granted, I haven't been to those locations since either. Either way, I just feel if anyone has had similar experiences in those areas, I'd like them to know they aren't the only ones, and we need to get more information put there for everyone's safety. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and I greatly appreciate you putting more information out there. I myself have learned so much watching your videos, and will be making sure my children are aware of the other dangers out there that we weren't taught growing up, or rather had it laughed about and told it was all fake, made-up hippie stuff. Feel free to use my name, Ariel Mitchell. Ariel, absolutely appreciate your time and you sharing that, and I absolutely am doing jumping jacks that you mentioned, teaching the children the truth. That is the key. That is the very serious key to changing the shit show that's going on today. Got to make it a fair, open game for the kids, I'll tell you what. Got to make it fair. But anyway, here we go. Back to the original video I filmed on the beach. And then I don't think I'll be getting videos out as commonly as I have been, because there's too much going on right now, but I will be getting videos posted when I can. Okay, guys? Check out the rest of this video. So I rode across from right there, where it just was. I rode across the other side of the bay on the lee side of the wind coming in. And here it comes. And here comes the rain. I don't know if I can pull off some of the snow, but I'm going to try, alright? Hopefully the raindrops don't hit the camera too hard. And I'll put that on that log, and I'll sit on this log. Almost. Alright. Let's add on a couple more onto this one. Alright, here we go. Mark, this is red. Something off in Willamette National Forest, Washington. My husband and I were camping on a camping trip in July 2021 in the Willamette Forest. This has been a long-awaited trip, as I've been asking to go camping here for a little over a year, so I've driven through it many times on my trips to see my family in Nevada. We read it. Sorry, we read that one. I remember. Alright, what's this one? I gotta turn around and look at that inflatable to make sure it's not floating away on me. That would really suck. It should be good for a little bit because the tide's coming up. Childhood in-home terror, young adult geocaching terror, and retirement phenomenon. It's all making sense now. Resent just in case it's part of the spam lost. Thank you for your courage and conviction to do what is right no matter what the cost. Out of my cold dead hands. Also, for your integrity and compassion to let every voice be heard. Please share my name and story. My name is Brenda Wilcox. Thanks to my big brothers, I grew up in South Florida, fishing, camping, and hiking the Everglades, south and up to Central Florida. Too bad they didn't teach me hunting too. What I'm about to share, I had never connected to Sabe, but after listening to the unending experiences you share from your viewers, I now understand that somehow. This childhood, middle-aged, and current experience, I'm now 52, may somehow be connected. Here's what happened. As little girls, my sister and I would wash together in our mom's shower. This time I was 5, she was 8. For unknown reasons, we were always very afraid of my mother's closet, and it took courage to run past it each time we went to use the bathroom, especially at night. This night, my sister went in the shower ahead of me to warm up the water while I waited, sitting on the toilet lid. Happened to look down. Protruding in from under the closet bathroom door were 2 huge, hairy paws. Looking back and considering a child's view and perspective, making that adjustment, I would say the paws were about 8 inches wide. Still way too big to be any domestic animal. The toes were long, like a rat's foot. Okay, hold on a minute. Oh, that boat's thinking about floating away already. seal back there behind me, hanging out, wondering what the hell I'm doing. All right. This sounds familiar, but you never know. I don't know why there's so many that come up marked as red. I almost wonder if the ones I mark as red maintain a copy of itself without it being marked as red. I don't know. Either way, here we go. All I heard was his claws hit the blacktop behind me, coming for me. I got dropped off in Canoeing to do a little bow hunting. K-I-A-N-T-O-N-E. My girlfriend took our daughter to the doctors. Well, no luck hunting, and they were still at the docks. I decided to walk the 6 or 7 miles home, just crossed the creek, about 150 yards past the bridge in still water, when I heard those claws hit the blacktop, maybe 120 behind me. It was coming for me. The sound of those claws were huge. They hit the ground 4 times and covered more than a football field in seconds. It was like in slow motion. It was like a 2,000 horsepower 2-stroke 4x4 coming. Like a racehorse, hooves. Its long claws hit the pavement. From the first second I heard it coming, I knew this was it. Whatever was coming was real big. I took my bow from my shoulder. As I was turning around pulling an arrow from the quiver, I put the bow up to block with my left and an arrow in the right. I said, "Come on, MFer." As it just stopped less than 10 yards or less, there was no heavy breathing, and oh yeah, it was blackout. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was silent, not a sound. Then I heard it breathe. As it stood up, it went from eye level to maybe 9 or 10 feet up. Now about 15 to 20 feet from me, it started sidestepping to my right. I heard its feet hitting the edge of the road and the gravel. It went maybe another 10 feet and stopped. I started backing up 1 step at a time towards the intersection with the only light around. I'm 5'10", 250, and I've never taken shit from anyone. I have to say that I was scared, and I knew that this was it for me. I wasn't going without a fight. I was shocked. It just stopped. I got under the streetlight shaking so bad that it was hard to call my girlfriend. She was there in a couple minutes. It covered 120 or 130 yards in 4 times. Its claws hit the ground and stopped without making a sound. No sliding to a stop, no nothing, but a slow, long inhale as it stood up. I don't know what this was, and I can only guess. Dogman, Sasquatch, I don't know, but it had me. November of 2012. I'll never forget the sound of those claws as they hit the pavement. Thank you for sharing our encounters. You're making a difference, helping people more than you know. Thank you. P.S. You're able to ask the person that talks to them, as was in your video today, February 9th, 22. I asked him, when they go through the portal, do they transport to the other places on Earth? Do they transport to other places on Earth or elsewhere? And about where Dogman came from. Just curious, like I'm sure everyone else is that has a seat at the table. We didn't ask to be here, we just are. Thank you, Steve. Be safe. You can use my name, Dondi Kilbury, Western New York. Dondi, man, I hope I didn't butcher that. I just can't seem to relax here right now. Oh, hold on. Why is there so many emails in here that have been read? Weird. I can hear that boat moving behind me. All right. Bigfoot beings. Hello, Steve. I have a short experience I want to share. Thanks for all you do. We're certainly coming to understand the reality of our planet and beyond. Good. Share that reality, man. Back in 2014, I was canoeing and portaging near Parry Sound, Ontario, in a very remote place. The road used to get there has now been closed for some reason, possibly because of the following experience I had. I was with my wife quietly paddling down a quiet river, and there was 2 young moose standing at the water's edge in single file. They just stood there. So I popped my head up after a minute, and they did the same. They did a 180 and silently went back into the bush. I knew something special was happening. So we went down this river, which later I learned is is Indian owned and has no roads into it either. Our once relaxing and blissful canoeing trip turned very intense. We could hear beings running through the forest, like a group was running back and forth. They were dodging trees and jumping. The intensity was very powerful. I had no idea what it could be. I stayed calm and at peace while allowing my intuition to sense it. All I got was thoughts like I wasn't invited. The area should be kept pure from visitors, and they are very powerful. I came from a family of hunters, fishermen, trappers, and never heard any of them speak of this or experience this in Northern Ontario. I'd rather not mention my name. I have no desire to be known. I simply want everyone to have courage to speak up and share their experiences and respect these beings and their habitat. Keep on fighting the good fight. Thank you for all you do, and I enjoy vicariously living through your adventures and tuning into your show. All right. Somebody else has felt their presence anyway. I heard some weird shit. All right, listen, it's starting to piss. Rain. I gotta get out of here. I gotta buck into the wind in this thing to get around a point. And I hope I didn't butcher this video up too much, you guys. But I don't know why. It's just not that easy for me today. I kind of can't relax with the tide coming up and the boat bobbing around behind me. At least I got cell service here. There's so many bears running around. It's stupid. I'm hearing some crashing in the bush off the left. Probably, I saw a bear here earlier on this beach, so it's probably that. But anyway, if I could encourage anybody to do anything, it would be to please share these truths with as many people as you can. Just be honest, share the truth. At least you did, and then people can take from what they will, leave it, but at least you shared the honest truth of what's going on our planet today. A tiny bit of what probably is a huge reality that we aren't aware of, that we should be aware of, right? Let's try as hard as we can to see if we can possibly get through the rest of this lifetime without the risk of feeling at the end of it, oh shit, the dirty bastards got us bad. Damn it. Because there's no going back, right? We can't go back and start again this ride. Maybe another one, I don't know. They say you can, but it's just so shitty that these pricks are pulling the wool over so many people's eyes through this entire lifetime. It's really, really unfair. It's not what's supposed to be going on. You know, it's not. We are given this lifetime to be. We're supposed to be equal. We're supposed to be free will. We're supposed to be learning as much as we can, experiencing much as we can, and sharing everything. But meanwhile, it's not the case today, and it really frustrates the shit out of me. And if I could, I would go the distance to try to stop it. Believe me. So, but anyway, this is one thing I can do, and I can keep doing, and nobody can stop me from doing this. Not yet, anyway. I guess Canada's on its way to passing a bill that suppresses the information we share, which is unfortunate. It's getting real close to being time to leave this country as far as I'm concerned, but now at least a little bit more of a fight anyway, right? Here we go. I'm gonna jump in that boat and beat my way back out around the point, and I gotta go straight into this little storm for a bit and then duck in another cove to get back to the marina. I'll be back on a regular programming schedule shortly. Be safe.